Today I want to talk about my cup holder. Today I want to talk about, you guessed it, my cup holder. I talked about it a few times in my Alaska trip, both in the preparation and my top 5 things. This got an honorable mention. But it's more than just a cup holder I want to talk about. So, of course, the cup holder is the thing that, is very controversial in the motorcycle world. Why would you want a motorcycle with a cup holder? Well, for me, it's so that I can stay hydrated as I'm riding long distances. So I have a cup that I'll put Gatorade, water, whatever, even coffee in the morning into it. And then it is suspended by this support, this cup holder that moves back and forth and fore and aft, depending on the position of the bike. This is part of a whole system from our friends at Ram Mount. What I have on the table in front of me is different Ram Mount components I've used over the years, including my cup holder. So to start with, the long distance community loves Ram mounts. There's different Farkle bars that mount across the handlebars that have the standard mount that allow you to put different types of accessories. So what I want to do is I want to go over what some of the Ram mount components are. So first of all, there's bases, right? So bases, this is just a generic base that would mount to either a bar or things like that on the motorcycle. And I'll insert a picture right about there of what goes around handlebars. I've got a couple of different styles, both for the Pan America and for the Road Glide, that mount to the handlebars. You need a base, right? So you have a base that things stick to. I even have one for if I'm riding a motorcycle with a windshield or in a car that I don't want to hard mount a base. It's a suction cup. So you put it up against the glass or the windshield surface, and you turn a cam, and it locks in place. It creates a vacuum. Of course, you need to make sure you have a smooth, clean surface for this to stick to. From there, there's an arm, and I have 4 different arms. I have, as you just saw with the cup holder, a very long one, and that allows the cup holder to swing and move. They have a medium-sized one right here, and then they have a short one. These are all used depending on how high up you want your device mounted. And then I also have a swivel mount. This mount actually swivels, and you can make the ball notch, or the notch where the shaft that supports the ball goes through, into different orientation depending on how you want it set up. So you can actually have the ball notch set up perpendicular. So once you have a base and an extension, then you put your accessory on top. And the way I typically do it, and I have a couple of different accessories here I've used over the years. These are for inside a vehicle, and then these are for outside a vehicle. So to start with, very simple, I have a squeeze mount for inside of a vehicle to hold your phone. So in the event that you would say, for example, have a mount, and then you would have this device, they're all but the smallest are spring loaded. So what you do is you stretch the spring open, you put it on the ball, and then that allows you to orient it. And then you put it on the base, put it in the orientation you want, and tighten it up. This one is specifically designed to hold a cell phone. So I'll hold the base. You set a cell phone in there, and you squeeze it, and then your cell phone stays put. Now, like I said, this is for inside of a vehicle. I don't feel confident that this would support my phone on a motorcycle because you can get it out. So this is good for inside a vehicle. Next, I've had a finger grip mount. So again, if you loosen it the way I showed you to set it up, it squeezes the ball and then you can just lift it off. And then to change to this other one, this is a finger grip mount. And I've used this for everything from phones to GPSs to anything around this size that would fit. And what you do is there are bottoms that fit here that support the bottom of whatever your device is, or a top, or you can turn it sideways and put a bottom or a top, and there's notches for 1, 2, 3 on each side, and a top and a bottom So you can put either these fingers, these individual fingers, just mount in those notches, depending on the size of whatever your device is. So this is pretty handy. Like I said, I've used this for GPS, I've used this for phones. It works well for odd shaped things. Again, this is something that once you use it, you don't want it outside of the vehicle. So for example, in this case, I put it in there. It holds it pretty well, but in my view, not enough for the outside of a vehicle. Okay, so that's inside of a vehicle. Now for the outside of a vehicle, I have a couple of different items. Of course, you saw the cup holder, right? So this holds my cup for when I'm traveling. I also have an inductive charger mount. So this is yet another RAM accessory that has the same ball. And the way this works is it's spring-loaded on one side, and you take your phone and you push it up, and it sits in the cradle. And when it's plugged into an appropriately powered USB port, it'll inductively charge your phone while leaving it accessible. Now this one, it won't fall out. You have to press up and release it from the notch in the bottom and the top. They do have a secondary strap to give additional pressure. So you reach that up and pull it down, and that holds it even tighter. I haven't yet needed that, but I keep it there just in case. So this inductive phone mount worked all the way up to Alaska, all the way up the Dalton Highway, up to Coldfoot Camp, on all of those rough roads, and my phone never budged. Next, I have a mount for my Spot Gen 3. They make one for Spot Gen 4, Spot Gen 2, Spot Gen 1. And what this does, if you don't have the spot on your body, this allows you to mount it to your motorcycle. And it's just a simple spring clip. So you place it in place, pull the spring back, and it holds it. Again, this one holds it well enough to where it will stay no matter what. And last, even our friends at Garmin, with their, let me untangle this, with their mounts for the different Garmin GPS, they use something very similar to a RAM mount. So what I've done is I took an extra set that I had of a mount and ran a 2-pin SAE connector, and that allows me to plug it in however I want. And again, this has the connections for the GPS mount from Garmin. This one is for the XT2, so it's got the high power 12 volt instead of just the USB power. So even our friends at Garmin do this. So as you can see, this is why pretty much all the long distance community loves RAM mount, because they're sturdy, they're versatile, and you can put them practically anywhere. So that's about it. Told you I'd do a review on my cup holder. I did. I like it. It works well. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. I always need more subscribers. Hit the bell. You'll be notified of more content. And as always, thanks for watching. Go far with Brett.